Hi, and now for the Greek of Acts 14, verses 1 through 7. And I've already done the podcast, which you can find on my Patreon site. What has happened? We're on the first missionary journey of Acts with Paul and Barnabas. They went to Cyprus, and then John Mark went home. Then they went to Antioch of Pisidia. They got kicked out of there, and now they've gone a little bit east to a city called Iconium. And it came to pass. Hopefully you know this form by now. Ageneto is all over the narratives of the New Testament. It's aorist because the gen, if it was gin, it might be an imperfect, or if it didn't have an augment, a present, it's the present stem with the I, iota. But with the gen, it's something else. And in this case, with the augment, it's an aorist. So it's an aorist, middle deponent, again, oh my, indicative, third singular. And we can translate it, and it became, or it came, or came to pass, and it happened that, something like that, and it came to pass in Iconium according to the same. So basically, Paul and Barnabas followed the same pattern that they followed back at Antioch. We go first to the Jews and then to the Gentiles, okay? Namely, them to go in to the synagogue of the Jews and to speak thus, with the result that, okay, let me go back. It came to pass them to enter in. So elf tells me this is aorist. Ein tells me it's an infinitive. So this is an aorist active infinitive from eis erchomai. It's irregular, second aorist. Hopefully you know elf by now. The subject, quote unquote, of an infinitive is in the accusative case. So it came to pass them to go in, or it came to pass that they went in. Notice that the into, it's doubled, but we wouldn't translate it in English because we don't do that. They entered into the synagogue of the Jews, and them to speak. So the them is the implied, I think, subject of this infinitive as well. 6 out of 7 infinitive forms end in I. Sigma alpha, it's an aorist active infinitive from laleo. Okay, so it came to pass in Iconium according to the same, them to enter into the synagogue of the Jews, and them to speak thus. With the result that, okay, Husta introduces a result clause. With the result that a great multitude, of palu plethos, a great multitude, both of Jews and Greeks, to believe. Hosta can often have an infinitive with it. It can also have a regular indicative verb, but in this case, it decided to go infinitive, or looped it. This is, again, an aorist active infinitive from pastuo. Okay, verse 2. And the ones who did not believe Jews, the Jews who did not believe, so the having disbelieved Jews, here the participle is being used as an adjective with the noun Judaioi, Jews. So the Jews. Which Jews are you talking about? The having disbelieved Jews. It's aorist because of the sigma alpha, so having. My aunt is an active participle, so it's an aorist active participle. Nominative masculine plural. Why would it be nominative masculine plural? Well, because hoi eudaioi is masculine, nominative masculine plural. So it's being used adjectivally because it's describing the noun, and it's being used attributively because the noun is there. If the noun wasn't there and you just had hoi ape thesantes, what would that be, that function of the adjectival participle? Then it would be substantive. But since the noun is there, it's attributive. So it's the having disbelieved Jews. And we can then use Ken's rule. If it has the article, use who or that. The Jews who having believed, having disbelieved, that's bad English. So we go to stage 3 and iron it out. The Jews who had disbelieved. Okay. But the Jews who had disbelieved, they raised up and they poisoned the souls of the Gentiles against the brothers. Okay, so epegeron is the aorist of epegero, and then kakao, they poo-pooed the souls, they kaka'd the souls, they poisoned the souls, the minds of the Gentiles. Okay, we keep going. On the one hand, therefore, they passed a sufficient time being bold. So this is accusative, so it's the object. They passed. This psi is the key to hidden sigma alpha, it's aorist. So this is aorist active indicative third plural from diatribo, which we've seen before. They passed some time, sufficient time, significant amounts of time, being emboldened by the Lord. So this is a present passive participle. Men are passive participles. Present passive participle, nominative masculine plural. Having been being emboldened by the Lord, and then the one witnessing. This is a participle. My aunt is an active participle, and it's dative. So why is it dative? Because it's the Lord is the one who's doing it. At the Lord, being boldened by the Lord, who was witnessing to the word of the grace of him. The Lord, so again, we know the case of the participle tells us what it goes with, and in this case, it's dative, masculine, singular, so it goes with Lord. Arkon anta santi anta, so it's dative, masculine, singular. The Lord who was witnessing to the word of the grace of him by giving. I think this is probably a instrumental adverbial participle. There's no article on it, so it's probably an adverbial participle, which means it has one of 10 functions, one of which is instrumental or means. How did he witness? By means of giving signs and wonders. Giving to signs and wonders to be through the hands of them. Basically by causing signs and wonders to come to pass through their hands, something like that. This is an infinitive. This is present. See the iota? So this is a present infinitive. It's deponent, again, oh my, so it's a present middle or passive deponent infinitive from ginomai. Okay, verse 4. And the multitude of the city was divided. Schism. There was a schism. Theta, eta, aorist passive. It was divided. Augment. Schizo, I think. This is where we get the word schizophrenic, because they're of divided mind, you might say. And they, so we have a men de construction here. Hoi men, hoi de. And so I think that this is and some were with the Jews and some were with the apostles. It's a little bit of idiomatic. You got to get used to that possibility. It's correlative. Some on the one hand, some on the other. Okay? Relatively short passage today. We'll be done before you know it, maybe. And as the intention of the Gentile of both the Gentiles and the Jews came to pass with the rulers of them to treat shamefully, an infinitive, aorist infinitive, and to stone them, sigma alpha iota, again, infinitive here, aorist active infinitives. So as that happened, we've already seen this. Hopefully you can parse it. It was earlier in the passage, verse 6. Having understood or having become aware of this, they fled. This is catafugo. Batafuco. No, it's catafugo. This is I think, probably the aorist of catafugo. I think probably the present has an epsilon right here. So they fled into the cities of Lycaonia, namely Lystra and Derbe, and the surrounding region. And there they were preaching the good news. Periphrastic, form of the verb to be, with the participle, imperfect of me, participle. This is a crash between kai ake, and so this is called crassus when that happens. It's like won't. It's a contraction. Okay, well, this is the Greek. Went pretty quick today. The commentary took significantly longer. But anyway, this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.